we're back with Florie, wonderful little
Hey
roommate.
guys.
She's in Scotland right now. You wouldn't believe it because it's sunny. Um,
Yeah,
but
I've even
she
got a bit of a tan.
yeah, but she loves being tan, so we're loving
That's
this for her.
fine.
She recommended two books for me. I read them like a month ago, but with moving and stuff and work, we finally met up, so it's all good.
Yeah,
So I guess
month down
why
the
did
line.
so
Which one do you want to go over first?
I don't know. I guess I think I read the slap first, so we can do that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So why did you recommend the slap first off?
Well, you guys won't know, but Susan does know. I'm not much of a reader, but my mum is, and so as her watching me watching films, she's a bit into dramas and like the teenage kind of like school dramas and stuff, and it's a bit related around that, and also it's quite an interesting book, as we'll probably discuss, because there's a lot of like stuff you can. It's the book is very much is very opinionate. Like you can see the book in two different ways. Like you can either be on one side or the other side. And it's my mum recommended it to me because she was like, oh, I wonder how you all like what you think was right. And then so when Susan asked me for a book to recommend, I thought it'd be quite a good book to speak about because she might have a different opinion to how I read the book. So I thought it'd be quite a good one to read.
Yeah. So I it's like I was surprised by both the choices. Like it makes sense now, like I've read them and like got to know you more, but it's just like I don't know, they're sort of out of left field. And it was like fun to read stuff I normally like wouldn't gravitate to. And this is definitely one of
Yeah,
them. Because reading I'd be like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. Because a lot of times I don't really care for drama necessarily. I don't know, like the superficial, like where it's more emotional stakes versus like actual stakes, you know?
yeah,
But this was still really fun because it's more of like you get to know these people and there are different relationships and stuff. And it's all in
yeah,
this like one little event. So like that's the part
yeah.
I
This
do
whole
like.
event, yeah, definitely. I find that interesting as well. Like how such a small moment in time they managed to build an entire book about,
Yeah.
and like that you grew to know so much about both like all the families.
Yeah. So that was definitely interesting. I feel like I'm still like torn a bit about, the
Uh-huh.
actual event. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because it's like some parents still like spank their kids or whatever. And like I don't necessarily think that like that's correct, but it's also like
yeah,
everyone's also human. So it's also
yeah,
just like sort of extending that like branch of understanding. But also as a kid, like being slapped or whatever by like an authority figure or like a parent or like he's like an adult, like that
yeah,
is so much to someone, like their little like brain. So I don't know. I can see like both
yeah,
sides, but in
yeah. No,
general,
I definitely agree because like if someone was to like say to me like, oh, like do you think hitting a kid is right, I'd be like, no, like that is wrong. But
yeah,
the thing was the kid was putting at risk another kid, and I get sometimes you kind of do things in a instinct, and I don't agree what the so basically the dad of the other kid hit one of the other kids, and I don't agree that that was right. But the way the kid that got hit's parents handled it, I thought was so wrong.
yeah,
Like, I understand, like, I just think they very much escalated it too far.
yeah. I don't know. It just seems like it's more of, I guess, like an older generation handling this type of stuff. And I guess I'm not good at confrontation or like compromise or like conflict. So you can really see
Yeah.
like how like bad that can go when you're not like really versed and like just like stopping problems and trying to understand the other person and all this stuff. So I guess like that's still relatable because like we all have parents that are like still human as well, or like they learned a certain thing
Yeah.
that was like that was normal for the time, but now times have changed in the past like 40, 50 years, like, whenever. Um, and also that was very interesting because you sort of get like the younger people in the family, their opinions versus like the really older
Yeah.
kids as well.
Yeah, because it was interesting. I thought it was quite well done how they had obviously had like the kid, the person that was the teenager that was babysitting them, and she thought it was so wrong. But then there was some older adults was like, no, that's so acceptable. And then so it's quite interesting, and I think it's quite a good representation of the different generations, how some of them thought it was acceptable and some of them just really didn't.
Yeah. And like to me that makes the book and like the characters actually seem like more realistic and more human, because not
Mhm.
everyone thinks the same. You know, even if like you're part of the same family, like someone will still like disagree with part of it, or like, you know, like speak out, or like be like, yeah, I know, like that's like I guess the front we're putting, but like I don't personally believe that, you know. So I definitely like
Yeah.
that bit. And then like what, they're like a Greek Australian family.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because I, you know, just being American, you get a lot of books about American immigration and like living in America and everything. And it's like interesting because like Australia and America are very similar in a lot of ways, but
Mhm.
like you just think of like, oh, everything's universal until you're pointed out it's not. So like there's a lot of times where I was like, oh, this could take place in America, and I was like, but it's not, because like these things wrong or this is different. So I do like
Yeah.
that as well, because like,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, that is a thing that happens, like immigration to anywhere that's not America. So I did like
Yeah.
that as well.
Okay. Yeah. It's weird because I never thought of it like that, but like
Yeah,
I can see for you how like in America things are like harder with things like that. So when you see that, you're like, all right, okay. And then
yeah,
kind of a quick reminder, it's not in America, it's in Australia.
yeah. Well, I don't know, because it's like even you go to Waterstones in Glasgow and there's a whole table of like Irish books and a whole table of Scottish books. And it's
Mm.
like we sort of extend that same thing, but to America, but like to the nth degree, because like we're crazy. So like a lot of what's gets taught in school and stuff, either classics or like a lot of American authors. Like we had a whole like year of Steinbeck because he's a California writer. Um,
Okay.
so like they're like, oh, we like this, and we spend so much time on U.S. history instead of like world history that like we're so like blinded to anything outside our borders. Um,
Yeah.
so it's definitely interesting because like you're a smaller country and like such like more history and like whatever, that you're sort of forced to like read outside your borders at a certain point, as much as you
Yeah.
try to celebrate like your own writers. I don't know.
But to be honest, it, with Australia is obviously a bit like it's a lot bigger than the UK, so it's obviously like it is nice to see when you see like the Greek, but like obviously with us the UK it's so much smaller. So like our history, like at different to you, is so much smaller than America because
Mhm.
it's a smaller place. There's less things that have happened. So with Australia, it'll be a bit similar to America, obviously not to the extent, but bigger country, a lot more going on. So more history. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like even just going like to college abroad and stuff, it's definitely like widened like my view and
Yeah.
stuff. And like as an American, I was doing good. Like I know I'm pretty good at maps, you know, so that's where the bar is. So but it's like it's interesting to get like a different perspective, even though it's on a story I already know really well. Just get like the other side, because like I'm used to the one that's always being told here, but there's always like multiple different sides to stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I know.
yeah.
I think that this was probably quite an interesting book to do, especially since it's two people from two different countries. It's like how like two different opinions, but like also we've been brought up incredibly different in a different country with different rules,
Yeah.
different rights, and it's like quite interesting to see that we both followed quite a similar pattern of like how we interpreted the book.
Yeah. I think it also helps that like we are younger. So I feel like
Yeah,
that's more of a commonality.
same values and things such.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So well, I just think in general, like physical force should not be used, whether it's on like a
No.
personal or international scale. Like, let's just have a conversation. Let's sit down, you know, have like your own
Yeah.
coffee or tea, and let's just like get the ball rolling. But
The
so
one thing the one thing I did find really like not a turning point in the book, but so obviously Rosie was the mum of the kid that got hit, and
yeah,
her husband was a very physical, quite abusive character. And so I did find that quite interesting because obviously it did make me think has she reacted because she's experienced similar with him or
Mm-hmm.
such? Because he was very, in the book, he was very abusive and quite angry character. And he was also kind of a bit dismissive of the whole slap. He was like Rosie, he was like that, he was like, leave it, like
Yeah.
you're taking it too far kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think, but you do find people like that. They're like they don't want to change how people do things. They don't want to rock the boat. Like it's working for them. So like, why like change it for the sake of like trying to fix another thing or like whatever. So I don't know. I'm definitely glad that was there. As much as I would hate to be her, in that
Yeah.
situation. It's
Yeah.
definitely like it not normalizes, but it's like brings awareness to like people like that or whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't know. Crazy.
It was a good book though. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I'm glad I read it. Because like there's books like that I would never pick up, but they're still like really great books. But
Yeah.
at a certain point you can't read everything.
Yeah, because it's a book that's an easy book. It's an easy book to read as me that's not a reader. But like it really did make you think during
Yeah.
it. Like it wasn't just like a book you read and didn't really have an opinion. It did really make you think, I thought.
Yeah. No, so it's really great. And honestly, I don't care like if people are readers and stuff. Like as long as like you're enjoying it and like if you want to read like a book a month or something or like how whatever your pace is,
Yeah.
I don't care. I think people get intimidated
Yeah.
because like I read so much I'm gonna judge them. Like I don't care. I just like love reading. I want to share that with
I
people.
know. And it's when I read books like that, I'm like, I actually really enjoy reading this. And I'm like, I should read more. But then I'm one of these people, like, I feel like I'm probably such a picky reader. I pick up a book and be like, I'm not enjoying this. But
Yeah.
I am actually reading a book at the moment. So I'm getting back on track with the reading because it's
Nice.
nice weather. And I always think sitting outside when the sun is shining with a book is always quite a good feeling.
Yeah. Not on your phone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the second one is Grown Ups by what is it?
Yeah.
Mary Keys?
Mary Keys, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Marianne Keys, yeah.
yeah. So I guess why did you choose it?
Um, well, that was the first book I read. Not the first book I read, but the first book that came to mind when Susan said. And it was the first book that I'd read thoroughly and really, really enjoyed. And I thought it was a quite a good book because it went into quite a lot of like mental health things and but it was with an older generation of people. And especially I do quite often think that older people aren't as they're like, oh no, mental health is a small thing. Like, and so I thought it was quite a nice book to read that it was you were reading it seeing these older generations suffering with things like that. And then it's been like, well, look, it's not this isn't just a new thing. Older people can suffer with it as well. So I think that's why I quite enjoyed the book. And I think that's why it probably from um stuck out from other books I read. And also I think it was quite a realistic it was quite a realistic way of like different people's lives because it obviously went it had the same kind of similar setup as the slap, but there obviously wasn't any drama, but it was like different people's lifestyles and it went into the different people's lives and how they coped with things. So I thought it was quite just a realistic kind of tale of just ordinary people's lives.
Yeah. That was very interesting again. And I didn't know that she was like this like well-known author.
Mm.
I didn't know that. And then afterwards I kept getting like ads or like kept seeing it, like her other books, and I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
crazy. Um, yeah. So like I wasn't expecting because you told me to read it. So I was like, I'll just start reading it, not like doing any research or like looking it up.
Yeah.
I was not expecting all the commentary, but I would like be like read it and stuff, and I'd be like, oh my God, like I'm so glad like this is in there. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you read a lot of romances or like whatever, and like people focus on like young adults or like teenagers and stuff. And like once you get married or like whatever happens, like once the story ends, oh, like it works out smoothly. It's like amazing. But like that's not how life is. So like it's just
Yeah.
having a more like realistic view into like older people or like, you know, in later stages of life of how like you still have to work for it, like, you know, just because something was fine earlier on, like it can still like stuff can still happen to you later on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that was very interesting. I did enjoy it. I can see why so many people do like her books in this one.
Yeah, I think the way that she put the book together was it what I think made the book so like quite enjoyable to read.
Oh yeah, because like you get like the dinner party, and then you're sort of just like, oh my, you're like thrown in the situation, like so much has happened. Then you get taken back like 6 months or like more
Yeah,
before the dinner, and you just get closer and closer. So you like know what's gonna happen for anyone else, but you
you're
also
kind
like
of reading it. Yeah,
yeah. So I love doing that. I have this habit for some reason of where I'll always read the last sentence or two of a book before I start it. So then it's sort of like as
and
I'm
that's
reading,
almost like you are reading the last sentence before you even and that's how
yeah.
the book's put together.
Yeah, so like it because then it keeps your mind trying to think of like how will this affect something like 400
Yeah,
pages
like how
later.
is this coming to the end? Yeah,
And I do like that because like readers are able to handle that, you know, even ones who don't read a lot. Like it is something fun to do and does make you look
yeah.
at all the
It
character
definitely
situations differently.
I definitely found it switched me on from the beginning because
Mhm.
I'm quite a lazy reader. Like I'll read a page and then I'll turn the page and be like, I don't think I read any of that. I was literally just skimming over it. But since it started from that and then went 6 months back, I was like, all right, okay, right. Like I've now got to really pay attention and like figure out how this is gonna go from here to
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So I did quite enjoy that because I think that's why I I quite enjoyed the book because I like really got quite involved in it.
Yeah. So and like I don't know, I loved how like no character was necessarily like bad or good. Like they're all like just in a gray area and they're human. And I did like
Yeah,
appreciate that.
and
Um,
they were all kind of suffering with their own kind of like middle-aged crisis problems, but like they were still kind of getting on with their life and like it wasn't like it wasn't really they didn't as such speak about it with each other because obviously like there was the three women that were
mhm.
like best friends and they would meet up and go out for drinks but they never really sit and like say like oh yeah like my life's so terrible kind of thing. They just kind of got on with their life and like it was just none of their lives were that great
Yeah.
but like it wasn't the main focus on like the book.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, it's also like they're almost like living for like other people when it's like their life. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what? Like if you want to like what the one girl she wanted to like change her job or like get a promotion or something.
yeah. And she was
Uh,
working like there was a person that was writing the book and like it was never really going that great. I think she was in a bit of a relationship that wasn't that great
yeah.
either. And then there's obviously the woman with the eating disorder
Yeah, it's
and
her.
her and she was very yeah, she was working pretty hard, but she had a pretty like they weren't giving her that great hours. And she was had this hidden life away from everyone where
Mhm.
she did all this binging and like her work didn't treat her that well from it.
Yeah. Well, also because like she was doing really well, then she had a kid. And then like they almost like keep punishing for that even after she had the
Yeah.
kid. And I was just like, you know, like as much as that sucks and seems like almost fake, like that's reality for so many people,
Yeah.
especially in
And
America.
that really like and not infuriates me, but it's like just because a woman's had a kid, they shouldn't be seen as they can't be higher up in like just because they've got other responsibilities doesn't mean that they can like be as just as successful.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. It's just was like crazy because it's just like I feel so bad for her because it's like, you know, she did all this stuff and then it's just like they're rude to her and I don't know, like they all have their own different lives and like you just see them trying to like, you know, make
Yeah,
ends
she was
meet. Be
definitely who
like,
I felt like the worst for in the like out of the three like women. So obviously there was like the three kind of families, and she was definitely who I kind of like felt like the worst for
oh
because her
yeah.
life was yeah.
Well, especially when you're dealing with an eating disorder, it's so isolating that like
Yeah. And
I
that
can't I
like
can't imagine like being a mom and
the
doing
woman
that.
that was quite successful that had kids that was trying to juggle that everyone kind of knew that she was juggling that, but this other woman had this secret life where she had to hide everything. She was trying to deal with that whilst dealing with the job, being
Mm-hmm.
unhappy in her job. It was, I know it was that, but the grown-ups wasn't as like obviously as drama filled. It was more just like a realistic kind of like it was just at like the average kind of like light like it kind of showed you how the like average life of grown-ups, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like very enjoyable as well because it's like it does seem realistic. Like you do like connect to all like the characters and stuff. You can see like how they came to sort of just like almost settle, and then like how like why they
Deal
made the
with it.
decisions they make.
Hmm.
And even with the ending and stuff, like I was still like satisfied. Even though I may have chosen different, I was still like, if that's your
Hmm.
choice, go for it, you know? So I
Yeah,
don't know. It's very interesting.
yeah, they're quite similar books but also quite different at the same time, I would say.
Yeah. But like, no, I'm still glad I read them.
Yeah,
Because
gives
like,
you something different to read.
yeah, well, because it's like I don't want to just get caught in like reading like the same kind of books and stuff. Because
Yeah,
then
it does change
like
it up a bit.
yeah, because then it does get boring after a while, and then you just sort of like you get no new ideas or different perspectives, and I want to like always have like that going on. So
Hmm.
that's why I do like seeing what other people like reading, and then talk to them about it and seeing like their perspective.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, because it's like I don't mind it in TV shows necessarily, like watching like stuff about families or relationships and stuff, but I think in books it's harder to do in a way.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know, crazy.
I feel like with books, which I do prefer to movies, with families and things like that, I feel like you've got to be more switched on because obviously, like you've got to learn the names, etc. You've got to
Mhm.
learn kind of like all the different personalities. So you've got to be way more switched on, which I do prefer because I get a lot more into it than in like a TV show where I'm less. So in that way, I do have really enjoyed reading them, I think.
Yeah. I'm really bad with names. So that was the thing. Like in the slap, they just kept coming and coming with names. And I was just like,
Yeah.
can I get a family tree? Like something?
Yeah,
Um,
it was quite nice because since my mum had recommended it to me, I was like, okay, mum, like, right, who's this person again? Like, I'm quite getting confused here. She was
yeah,
like, right, okay, so that's the babysitter, but she's also having an affair with such and such. And I was like, right, okay,
I
right, I
know.
know who this is now.
I know. I kept having to like make little like checklists of like if the character comes in, if they are like, here's stuff about every person. Uh,
Yeah,
but it's not too hard. Yeah, there's just a lot of names. But
yeah,
I know it's like you come to a new class and you're just like, oh dear, just a wall
yeah,
of names.
yeah. Literally, that's literally what it was.
But yeah. I would recommend a family tree for those books. If I had to like talk to the author and be like, yo, just put like a family tree or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a book you've got to really like pay attention to.
Yeah. But still worth it. Don't like be afraid of all the names. You
Yeah,
can always just flip back.
definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any closing remarks you wanna?
I don't think so. I'm glad you read book. Like I'm glad that we got to do this because you read like some books that were different that you hadn't really read before, which was nice because it gives you something a bit different to talk about. And also it's quite nice, especially with the slap, to speak to someone and get kind of see how they saw it compared to how I saw it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I quite enjoyed about my mom when I was with my mom. It was like she was like as I going through, she was like, "Oh, so like, what are you thinking?" So it was quite nice for like me to be able to do that with you, like, "Oh, what did you think? Like, how did you see it?"
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's like I enjoy doing it because like A, it is different exposure, but then B, I get an insight into like you and like other people,
Yeah,
like what they like, what stuck with them, or what they would recommend, you know,
yeah,
because it's like this you ask them like what's your favorite food or like what's your favorite restaurant or whatever, like, if you hear like why they choose it, like it's gonna like show you a different part of them that might not come
tell
up.
you a bit about their personality. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm. So that's really interesting. And then we get to have a lovely conversation, which
Catch up.
like it's like like you can hang out with people but it's like different than if you like actually like talk and connect or whatever, like both, like you sort of need both, but after a while like just doing a bunch of superficial stuff does get annoying, and you're sort of
Yeah,
like you have all these friends but like no connections. So like
Yeah.
it's nice.
You're just kind of telling each other things and you're like, all right, okay. But actually being able to discuss things is something that you both know something about. So it's quite nice.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like if someone says, "Oh, this is my favorite movie," and you go watch it, like it doesn't take that long, but it's still something that like they'll remember and then you can share with them. I don't know,
Yeah.
like the little things.
I know, Susan, you should definitely tell me your favorite movie because I'm a bit more of a movie person than
Okay.
book, and I
Okay.
will watch it.
Um, well, the one I can think of right now is like my go-to answer, but
Okay.
well, I love Call Me by Your Name, so I also have like the book and like the DVD,
Okay.
like literally on these shelves, like over there. So if you want to
Okay.
watch that, you can.
Right. I'm gonna put this in my notes. So
Okay.
I Call Me by My Name, is that what it's called?
Yeah, call you by my name.
Okay, right.
Or
Let's
call
get
me
this
by
one.
your name. Yeah. I
Call
don't
Me.
know where it would be on.
I will find it. I will order on Amazon Prime if it comes to it. And that can be our next like month down the line when we both have
Perfect.
time catch up. Why you like that book and why you like the movie.
Do you want to give me a movie and I could watch that?
Oh goodness,
You can always text me.
yeah, I will have to come up because I'm a big movie person.
I
So it's
know.
not like books where I've got a short list. This is a movies, there's probably quite a long
Well, it's
list.
also like you have the ones you always gravitate to, but you also like there's never like a top favorite. Well, I guess you
Yeah,
have your name, but like there's always like different moods and stuff, and that's your favorite or favorite for like this time period. So when
yeah,
someone asks on like out of the blue, you're sort of just like, I don't have any names remembered. Like,
yeah. Like my mind just goes blank and I'm like, I couldn't name you a single movie right now.
I know exactly. No, people tell the books, and I'm just like, I know I read, but like I don't remember any of them right now. So give me like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Because I work in Tesco's and these boys came in and they're doing the North Coast 500
Okay.
and every single person they met, they were asking what their favorite song is and they're putting a Spotify playlist together of everyone they met. And they asked me and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, and literally my mind went blank. And I was like, I can't think of a single song right now. And I was like, why can't I think of any songs? And it's when someone asks you and puts you on the spot, I'm like, I've literally got absolutely no idea.
I know. But I guess like you could always try to have like a list of your favorites, just so when someone
Yeah.
asks you, like you have something,
Yeah.
because I always try to do that. Then I always forget the names, I'm horrible with names. And then I'm always just like, oh, back to square one. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds like a plan. Um, Beyond that, I hope, you do really well and, enjoy the summer or what Scotland has
Yeah.
to offer for summer.
I know. I don't think our summer, unlike yours, is going to last much longer.
Oh, what?
But I can't say I have got a bit of a tan,
Yeah.
but
So,
yeah. But I'm looking for. It'll be nice. It's good to not even though we're both working, not to have uni work to catch up on. That is quite. I have to admit that is quite nice.
once I leave work, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So,
When do you finish?
my work. Oh, no, around like noon or 1. It just depends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but some
Yeah.
days I'll start at like 6. So you're like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that wouldn't be my no.
But you get it out of the way, you get it done, you have the rest of your
Yeah.
day.
That
So
was
it's
like
not like,
today. I finished at 1 and it felt quite nice to come home and just relax. But now I'm so tired. Because
yes,
I'm like Susan is for Susan is 9 o'clock, right? Well, nearly 10 o'clock.
yeah,
For me, it's 6 o'clock, which is quite odd. Because when we were trying to organize the time, I was like, right, so Susan is 8 hours behind me. I was like, so I need to figure out a time that suits me, but also Susan's not fast asleep.
yeah. Well, if you
Vice
let me know ahead
versa.
of time, I can always set an alarm.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think we're both doing really well in summer. You sound and look like you're enjoying it for the most part.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that continues. Nothing happens,
Yeah.
only good things.
It is flying by though. I don't think it's going to be long until we're back on back in Glasgow again.
We do have 2 months though, like as long as that sounds.
Yeah.
But, enjoy it. And they'll hopefully, we'll have fun when Glasgow welcomes us
Yeah.
back in September and everything.
Yes, we'll be reunited in the Glasgow.
Oh, and then we can actually, catch up on lost time and everything and have
I
some fun.
know, definitely.
Yeah.
Have the first year we didn't have the last year.
Yes. We're not salty, I swear.
I know.
It was still fun. Different, but still fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'll just end the recording and then